The day I finally saw that my wedding wasn't about family, it was about protecting my sanity and the last shreds of my joy. I'm getting married in September 2025. My fiancé and I have been in a long-distance relationship for a while now. He lives in England, and I'm based here in the US. We're lucky in some ways. I work remotely, which gives me the freedom to visit him about 3 times a year, staying for around 6 weeks each trip. He also visits me about 4 times a year, though his trips are shorter, usually just a week at a time. It's not always easy, but we've made it work. We love each other, and we've built a rhythm around the distance. We've gotten really good at savoring our time together. Back in March 2024, he started planning his proposal. He wanted to do it the right way, the old-fashioned way, and he reached out to my parents to ask for their blessing. I thought that was really sweet of him. It meant a lot to me that he took that extra step. I didn't know the details at the time, just that he had asked them, and that they had given their blessing. Then, about a week later, I was having a casual conversation with my dad, just small talk, when, out of nowhere, he mentioned that my fiancé was planning to propose around Christmas. December 2024. I just remember standing there, blinking, my brain trying to process what he had said. I didn't even know how to respond at first. I felt crushed. I had always dreamed of the proposal being a total surprise, something that would just happen one day, when I least expected it. I wanted that rush of excitement, the butterflies, the moment of pure magic. Instead, I now knew exactly when it would happen. Not just sometime soon, but months away, a specific window of time that turned every day leading up to it into a weird waiting game. And it wasn't even a private slip-up. It was announced to me as if it was normal to know. When I told my mom how I felt, how hurt I was to have that surprise taken from me, she brushed it off immediately. She told me I was overreacting, that it was obvious it would happen at Christmas because both of our families would be together. She said I was being stupid and making it into a bigger deal than it was. That hurt even more. It wasn't about being stupid. It was about losing something special, something I couldn't get back. And instead of my feelings being heard, I was made to feel like they didn't matter. Like I was childish or silly for even caring. My dad, thankfully, did apologize. He acknowledged that he shouldn't have said anything. But my mom, she just kept standing her ground. She insisted I was dramatic, that it wasn't a big deal, and that I needed to get over it. Since then, it's been one thing after another. Planning the wedding has started to feel heavy instead of joyful. Every time I sit down to work on it, it feels more like checking off tasks from a list rather than creating a day that's supposed to be full of love and celebration. The excitement has been replaced by a sense of obligation. Like I'm doing it for everyone else, not really for me and him. And then today happened. My fiancé is visiting right now, just a short visit, 1 week, and we're trying to make the most of every second. We were all sitting together on the couch, my mom, my fiancé, and me, just talking, relaxing. It was one of those quiet, comfortable afternoons where you don't expect anything major to happen. Then, completely out of nowhere, my mom turns to me and says loudly, with absolutely no warning, "Have you picked up your veil from the bridal store yet?" I just froze. I hadn't told him about the veil. It was supposed to be a surprise. I wanted the first time he saw me in my veil to be when I was walking toward him down the aisle, not casually mentioned in the living room with the TV on in the background. I could feel his head turn toward me, and he smiled, really sweetly, and said, "Oh, you're wearing a veil?" He was genuinely excited, which made it even worse. Because now, that tiny, special reveal was gone too. Another little piece of the magic chipped away. I smiled back, tried to match his energy, and just said, "Yeah." But inside, I felt that familiar sinking feeling again. The sadness, the heaviness, the sting of something important to me being treated like it was nothing. I don't think my mom even noticed. She just kept scrolling through her phone like she hadn't said anything unusual. And I sat there, next to the person I love more than anything, feeling like no matter how hard I tried to protect these little moments, they were slipping away one by one. And there wasn't much I could do about it. She's locked herself in her room now, and I'm just sitting here, feeling completely drained. The thing is, this wasn't just about today. It wasn't just about the veil slip-up. It's everything that's been building up for months. Honestly, since before we even officially got engaged. It started when my dad told me about the proposal. I tried to move past it, to not let it steal the joy, but it set the tone. And then it just kept snowballing. My partner's sister caused drama the day before the proposal, like Full-blown drama that created tension when there should have been excitement. Then, the day itself, the day I had dreamed about, ended up going so badly that my fiancé actually told me later that he wanted to propose again properly because he felt like the day had been ruined. We tried to laugh it off. We tried to tell ourselves that the important thing was that we were together and moving forward.
And it was.
But it still hurt. It still stung that a memory we were supposed to treasure forever felt tainted by everything that went wrong. And then last month, we got blindsided again. We found out that my partner's dad had gotten remarried a whole year ago without telling anyone. No phone call, no text, not even a vague hint that he was seeing someone. One day he's single and the next, he has a wife none of us have even heard of. And somehow, we're supposed to just smile and invite her to one of the most important days of our lives, a day that we had painstakingly planned to include only the people closest to us. And when my fiancé was rightfully upset about it, his dad basically gaslit him into thinking he was being unreasonable. That wasn't even the last blow. My best friend, my maid of honor, the person who's supposed to be standing beside me through all of this, bailed on my bachelorette party. She didn't even have the decency to talk to me about it properly. Just a half-hearted text about how something else had come up, how she hoped I understood. It felt like everyone I counted on was just falling away, one after the other. And through all of this, my mom, she's been on the sidelines, watching, silent, barely engaging unless it somehow impacted her. She wasn't excited about the engagement. She didn't ask about the proposal. She didn't call me after the day went wrong to check in or see how I was feeling. She didn't ask about the dress shopping or the color schemes or the flowers or the guest list, nothing. When we started planning, she basically opted herself out of everything. The only time she suddenly showed any interest was when she found out we were limiting the wedding to 40 people. That's when she got angry. That's when she cared, when it meant that people she wanted there weren't going to be invited. People I barely knew. Friends of hers who had never really been a part of my life. Family members I hadn't spoken to since I was a child.
It wasn't about me.
It was about her image, about her circle. And when I tried to explain, tried to remind her that this was our day, not hers, she didn't listen. She insisted on paying for extra guests so she could have her way. She made it clear that her involvement was transactional, that her support had conditions. And then today, she couldn't even hold back one small comment about my veil, about one of the only true surprises I had left. She couldn't respect the boundary I had tried so hard to set. It felt careless, thoughtless. And when I asked her, please, not to mention anything else about the dress or the accessories, not even the shoes, she just rolled her eyes. Like I was a child throwing a tantrum. Like I was being silly for wanting to protect something special. She gave me a half-hearted apology 10 minutes later, barely looking at me, barely meaning it. Just a flat, sorry, OP. I told her, it's fine. I'm used to it at this point.
And I meant it.
I hate that I meant it. And now she's hidden herself away in her room, probably telling herself that I'm the villain for ruining the mood. And here I am, sitting on the couch with my partner next to me, feeling this familiar ache in my chest. This heavy sadness that's been quietly growing for months, fed by every small disappointment, every careless comment, every broken expectation. It feels like every part of this engagement has been shadowed by drama, tension, hurt feelings, and missed opportunities. And I hate that it's gotten to me. I hate that instead of feeling joyful or excited or even just calm, I feel exhausted.
Numb.
I feel like I'm spending more time defending my happiness than actually experiencing it. I glance over at my fiancé, who's pretending not to notice how tense I've gotten. He's trying so hard to stay cheerful, to make this week special. And he is special. He's my safe place, my anchor. He reaches over and squeezes my hand lightly. No words, just a quiet reminder that he's here, that he sees me, that he understands. And for a moment, I let myself breathe. Because despite everything, despite the ruined surprises and the family drama and the disappointments, at the end of all this, I still get to marry him. And maybe that's all that really matters. After a lot of thinking last night, a lot of lying awake while my partner slept next to me, I realized something pretty heartbreaking but necessary. I have been trying so hard to include someone who has made it very clear, time and time again, not only that they don't want to be included, but that they shouldn't be. It wasn't just one mistake. It wasn't a one-off misunderstanding. It's been a pattern, a clear, consistent pattern of disregard, dismissal, and thoughtlessness. And honestly, that pattern speaks louder than any words or half-hearted apologies ever could. My partner leaves back to the UK today. Every time he leaves, it gets a little harder, but today it feels especially heavy. There's this part of me, this stubborn, exhausted part, that's seriously considering eloping with him when I visit in May. We've already paid half of what we owe to our venue and photographer, so completely canceling isn't really an option. That ship has sailed. But maybe we don't have to do the whole big ceremony. Maybe we could just turn it into a reception, a celebration of something that's already happened, something that belongs purely to us. Maybe that's what we should have done all along. And honestly, thank God I had the foresight to think ahead when it came to other important life moments. If we ever have children, I already know, the gender, the due date, the names, those things will be private.
Sacred.
Kept between me and my partner until we decide to share them on our terms. Because what I've learned painfully is that when you let the wrong people in on your most vulnerable, joyful moments, they have the power to taint them without even seeming to realize it. My mom has pretty much ensured at this point that she'll be on a permanent info diet for as long as she's in my life. Not out of pettiness, not out of revenge, but for survival, for peace. Because if I don't protect these moments, she will spoil them. And when she does, she'll turn around and tell me that I'm the one being dramatic for caring. It's a cycle, and I'm just done participating in it. Thinking about the veil, about how casually that moment was taken from me, I realize it wasn't really about the veil itself. I know my partner. I know he's still going to be surprised. I know he's going to be emotional when he sees me in my dress, no matter what tiny hints he has. I know he meant it when he said he wanted to be completely clueless, to have no idea what to expect. And I know that his love for me isn't something that can be ruined by an offhand comment. But still, it was another small cut in a long, deep series of cuts. It was about the pattern, the continued thoughtlessness, the way my feelings seem to be an afterthought if they're considered at all. And honestly, what hurt even more than the veil comment was what came after. The way she rolled her eyes when I asked her not to say anything else, the way she treated my hurt like it was some childish outburst instead of a valid reaction to having something important to me spoiled yet again. If she had just said, "I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to ruin anything. I'll be more careful," and left it there, it would have been fine. It would have been a mistake, acknowledged and moved past. But instead, she had to make it about me being too sensitive, about me looking for reasons to be upset. And that's the part one can't just sweep under the rug anymore. That's the part that stays. It's wild to me, really, how someone can hurt you and then act like you are the problem for noticing that you're bleeding.
So yeah.
Today, as my partner packs up his suitcase and I watch him out of the corner of my eye, feeling my heart ache already, I'm seriously thinking about May. About a quiet ceremony, just the two of us, somewhere beautiful in England. No drama. No ruined surprises. No feeling like I have to apologize for wanting to feel happy. Just love. Just us. Maybe that's what it was always supposed to be.